Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Sheng. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. What is the primary issue plaguing China's real estate market? Is it an excess supply of housing, declining property prices, and a surplus of unsold property? Is it the inadequate effectiveness of stimulus policy implemented by the central government? Or is it the failure of local government to revive the real estate markets? None of the above. At the present, the most significant problem confronting China's real estate sector for the next decade is the deteriorating quality of aging buildings. This critical situation has reached a tipping point where a substantial increase in accidents is expected, posing a severe risk to the safety and the lives of residents. Based on official research conducted by the Beijing government, China's total housing area between 1949 and 1978 amounted to 1.4 billion square meters. Out of this, 80% of the housing underwent demolition, reconstruction, or renovation. However, there is still a substantial amount of housing in China that is over 40 years old, totaling approximately 300 million square meters, with many units still occupied by residents. Considering an average housing unit size for 30 square meters, it is estimated that there are around 10 million or more housing units that are over 40 years old. According to data from relevant departments of the Chinese government, the total housing area in China from 1978 to 2021 exceeded 64 billion square meters. Out of this, urban housing area accounted for over 38.1 billion square meters, while rural housing area was 25.9 billion square meters. Calculating based on average of 90 square meters per housing unit for urban areas and 100 square meters per housing unit for rural areas, the total number of housing units in China amounts to 680 million. During the period from 1978 to 1999, more than 150 million housing units were constructed. In addition to that, there are still 10 million housing units that are over 40 years old. How many housing units in China are over 20 years old? It exceeds 125 million units. This is a substantial figure that should not be ignored. These houses have been in existence for at least 20 years, with 30 to 40% of them surpassing 30 years. In other words, there are 40 million housing units that have surpassed the 30-year mark. Based on the construction material standards at the time, all of these houses in China are classified as dangerous without exception. Additionally, the remaining 80 to 90 million housing units also belong to the category of hazardous old houses. These properties suffer from various issues relating to water, electricity, and even the building materials used. The Chinese government initiated the slum housing renovation project and later the old house renovation plan, precisely because these 100 million plus old houses are in dire need of maintenance and repairs. However, the scope of the slum housing renovation project was relatively small, only addressing a few 100,000 units, which is insignificant compared to the vast number of houses requiring attention. Unfortunately, the implementation of the old house renovation plan has also been inadequate. Consequently, up to this day, 95% of these 100 million plus housing units have not undergone significant repairs or improvements. Due to the Chinese Communist Party's control over information, many people are unaware of this situation. In recent years, China has experienced numerous incidents involving the collapse of old buildings. Not only housing, but also various public buildings and facilities constructed around 1999, including those built for residential purposes, are in dire need of repair and reinforcement. However, these houses, along with the public infrastructure surrounding them, are suffering from a lack of funding. Local governments are facing financial constraints and are unable to undertake the necessary repairs. Those of us residing in old houses are well aware of the plumbing, electrical, and various other issues that arise firsthand. Therefore, in my sincere opinion, the most crucial issue in China's current real estate sector, and I'm not making light of this, extends beyond housing prices or property sales. It lies in the potential risks arising from over 100 million aging houses reaching a critical state. In the upcoming years, any incidents related to construction materials could give rise to significant problems on a large scale. When undertaking any task, it is important to consider both short-term and long-term implications. It is comparable to embarking on a journey where one builds houses tirelessly without considering their eventual sale. Completing the construction of a house does not mark the end of the journey. Rather, it necessitates ongoing maintenance, upkeep, and renovations. Many individuals residing in Western countries are familiar with the fact that apartment buildings require significant repairs after 10 or 20 years. These buildings are encased in scaffolding, undergoing meticulous maintenance work. This includes the replacement of insulation layers and the reapplication of exterior walls, which demand substantial effort. The repair process can be time-consuming, often lasting over a year. If you are residing in the United States, living in a single-family home, townhouse, or even your own villa, there will come a point when you need to replace the roof and outer walls. Local governments in most Western countries have strict regulations to ensure the safety of residential properties. However, the main issue in China currently is the lack of proper maintenance for houses. With subpar initial quality and a significant number of neglected houses, the potential consequences could be substantial. In an attempt to revive the real estate market, the People's Bank of China has implemented 16 measures. However, it is important to note that these policies cannot effectively address the core problem. Their primary focus is on completing the construction of buildings. The true recovery of the Chinese property market relies not on policies alone, but on the income and the confidence of the general population. To see improvement in the real estate sector, it is crucial for people's income to increase, their confidence in future economic prospects to strengthen, and their belief that they can afford to repay loans. Who will purchase these houses once they are built? Will the government be the buyer? Only when individuals experience a rise in income, possesses confidence in the future, and believe they can repay loans, will the real estate market be able to flourish. What about those who engage in speculative activities in the real estate market? With the current high property prices, it is unlikely that anyone would be willing to step in and take over. The priority becomes selling the houses quickly, regardless of the selling price, in order to secure the funds. The interest in further investment in the real estate market diminishes. In this situation, we can only depend on inherent demand, which itself relies on improvement in people's income and confidence in the prospects of future economic development. What is the purpose of all the current policies in China? Are they aimed at ensuring completed construction projects or stabilizing the financial market? However, for the real estate sector to recover in this situation, it is crucial for the general population to have a stable income, an improving economy, and access to employment opportunities with decent wages. When people's income increases and they have optimism about the future, they will be willing to take out the loans and invest in purchasing homes. This is what will ultimately revive the Chinese real estate market. Therefore, the sustainability of property prices in China depends on whether the general population has sufficient financial resources and a positive outlook for the future. Unfortunately, neither of these conditions is currently being met. It is important for us all to be aware of this, acknowledging that the situation may vary in different regions. As an example, in the well-known northeastern city of Hegang, the price of a standard housing unit has dropped from 50,000 yuan to 15,000 yuan in just 3 years. This is indicative of Hegang's performance. In the future, the city may face deserted scenario with only a few elderly residents remaining. In such circumstances, houses could be given away for free, allowing individuals to live there if they so desire. Some countries around the world, like the United States and Japan, offer free houses in areas with significant population decline as a means to attract residents. What significance do property prices in these cities hold when the economic foundation is lost and the cities become deserted? Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.